Welcome to Mindset Wealth Blueprint. Before we get into today's audiobook, let me be straight with you. For years, I thought credit cards were just a trap, just debt waiting to happen. Then I watched how wealthy people actually use them. They don't use them not just to spend, but to move money. They earn money they were already spending anyway, and let the banks fund their lifestyle. That's what this one's about. So get comfortable and let's break down how the rich really play the credit card game.
American households carry an average of over $6,000 in credit card debt at an average interest rate of 22%. The banks collected over $130 billion in credit card interest and fees last year alone. And that money came from people who were never taught how this game actually works. The credit card in your wallet is either the most expensive mistake you make every month or one of the most powerful wealth-building tools you own. The difference has nothing to do with the card. It has everything to do with what you know. The wealthy play a completely different game with the same cards. This is how the rich use credit cards to play the banks. Chapter 1. Why banks designed credit cards to keep you broke. Before you can use credit cards like the wealthy, do you need to understand something most people never stop to think about? Credit cards were not designed with your financial freedom in mind. They were engineered with extraordinary precision and decades of behavioral psychology research to extract as much money from you as possible while making you feel good about spending it. That is not cynicism. That is business. And the sooner you understand the business model behind the card in your wallet, the sooner you can stop being the product and start being the player. Here is how the model works. When you swipe your credit card, the bank is not doing you a favor. They are making a calculated bet. They are betting that you will spend more than you planned because credit spending consistently triggers less emotional pain than cash spending. They are betting that you will carry a balance at least some months because life happens and 22% interest on an existing balance is enormously profitable. They are betting that you will only make the minimum payment at least occasionally because the minimum payment is designed to keep you in debt as long as possible while maximizing the interest they collect. Every element of the credit card experience was designed to encourage these behaviors. The rewards points that make you feel like you are winning something every time you spend. The cash back that frames spending as earning. The smooth, frictionless tap-to-pay experience that removes every psychological speed bump between impulse and transaction. The statement that arrives once a month rather than updating in real time, so you never feel the accumulating weight of what you have spent until it is already done. J.P. Morgan Chase spent over $11 billion on marketing in a single year. A significant portion of that budget went toward making you feel that using their card is smart, rewarding, and modern. They would not spend $11 billion marketing to you if you were the one winning the exchange. The interest rate structure is where the real machine lives. The federal funds rate, the rate at which banks borrow money from each other, has fluctuated between near zero and a few percent over the last decade. Banks borrow money cheaply. They lend it to you through credit cards at 20 to 29%. The spread between what it costs them to access capital and what they charge you to access it is one of the most profitable margins in the history of financial services. The minimum payment is perhaps the most brilliantly sinister design element of the modern credit card. If you carry a $6,000 balance at 22% and make only the minimum payment every month, you will spend approximately 8 years paying it off and pay nearly $5,000 in interest on top of the original $6,000. The bank nearly doubles its money. You spend a decade servicing debt from a shopping spree you barely remember. The late fee structure adds another layer. The average late fee is now over $30. Miss 2 payments in a row and many cards invoke the penalty APR, an interest rate that can climb above 29% and in some cases stays elevated permanently on that account. One forgetful week can cost you years of elevated interest. None of this happens by accident. It happens by design. The behavioral research behind credit card product development is some of the most sophisticated consumer psychology ever applied to a financial product. Banks know that the average person will underestimate their monthly spending when using a card versus cash. They know that reward points create a positive emotional association with spending that partially offsets the guilt of overspending. They know that digital spending feels less real than physical cash, and they have built their entire product around that psychological gap. Understanding this is not about being angry at banks. Banks are doing exactly what they are supposed to do: generate returns for their shareholders. Understanding this is about recognizing the game that is being played and deciding whether you want to be a participant being harvested or a player using the same system to your advantage. The wealthy understand this distinction at a fundamental level. They do not avoid credit cards because they fear debt. They use credit cards with the same cold clarity that the bank uses when it designs them, as a financial instrument to be maximized for personal gain. They understand the fee structures, the reward optimization, the credit utilization mechanics, and the interest timing windows well enough to extract value from the product while paying the bank as little as possible in return. That knowledge is exactly what the next 9 chapters are going to give you. Chapter 2. How the wealthy see credit cards differently. There is a fundamental difference in how wealthy people think about credit cards versus how most people think about them. And it is not about income. It is not about discipline. It is about the mental model they bring to the product before they ever swipe the card. Most people see a credit card as access to money they have not earned yet, a way to buy things now and figure out the payment later, a convenience that becomes a burden. The wealthy see a credit card as a business tool, one that generates value, builds leverage, and costs them nothing as long as it is used correctly. That distinction changes every decision they make with the card. When a wealthy person applies for a credit card, the first question they ask is not what is the limit or what can I buy with this. The first question is, what does this card pay me to use it? They are evaluating the card from the perspective of a consumer extracting maximum value from a vendor, because that is exactly what they are doing. The bank is a vendor selling access to a financial product. The wealthy negotiate the terms by selecting the cards that pay them the most for their business. This is not a metaphor. Premium credit cards pay their holders in real, tangible ways. Cash back on every purchase. Travel points that convert to first-class flights and luxury hotel stays. Statement credits that offset annual fees. Purchase protection, extended warranty coverage, travel insurance, and concierge services that would cost hundreds or thousands of dollars to purchase independently. The wealthy use all of it, deliberately and systematically. The second mental model shift is how the wealthy think about the billing cycle. Most people think of a credit card statement as a bill to be managed. The wealthy think of the billing cycle as an interest-free loan window. When you make a purchase at the beginning of a billing cycle and pay the full balance by the due date, you have used the bank's money for up to 55 days at 0% interest. That is not a small thing. For someone who manages significant cash flow through a business or investment portfolio, that interest-free float is a genuine financial advantage. The third shift is the relationship between credit cards and cash flow management. Wealthy people do not use credit cards because they need to. They use them because keeping cash liquid while the bank's money covers short-term expenses is a smarter use of capital. While the bank's money is paying for this month's expenses, their cash is sitting in a high-yield account earning 4 to 5%. They pay the card off in full at the end of the cycle and pocket the interest their cash earned in the meantime. This is not a complex strategy. It does not require a high income to execute. It requires understanding that every dollar sitting in your checking account while you carry a credit card balance is a dollar that is costing you 22% annually. And every dollar sitting in a high-yield account while you use a credit card's interest-free window is a dollar earning you 4 to 5% for free. The wealthy also think about credit cards as leverage tools for their purchasing power. Negotiating a large business purchase? Put it on a rewards card and earn points on a transaction you are going to make regardless. Booking business travel? Use a card with lounge access and travel insurance so the card pays for perks that would otherwise come out of pocket. Buying equipment or inventory? Use a card with purchase protection so the bank's insurance covers the transaction. Every dollar the wealthy spend through a credit card is a dollar earning them something: points, cash back, protections, or float. Every dollar most people spend through a credit card is a dollar that may or may not earn them something while potentially costing them 22% if they do not pay it off immediately. Same card, completely different relationship with it, and that relationship starts before the card is ever applied for, in the mental model you bring to it. Chapter 3. The Rewards Game. How to make banks pay you. The credit card reward system is one of the greatest wealth transfers hiding in plain sight, and almost nobody is taking full advantage of it. The banks spend billions of dollars every year funding reward programs because the interest and fees they collect from the majority of cardholders more than covers the cost of rewarding the minority who actually use the cards strategically. You are about to join that minority. Here is how the economics of credit card rewards actually work. When you use your credit card, the merchant pays a processing fee to the card network, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, typically between 1.5% and 3% of the transaction. A portion of that merchant fee funds your rewards. The bank is not paying you out of the goodness of their heart. They are redistributing a fraction of what they collect from merchants back to cardholders as an incentive to keep using the card. The people who pay interest and fees subsidize this entire system. When you carry a balance and pay 22% interest, you are funding cash back programs for people who pay their balances in full every month. When you pay a late fee, you are funding travel points for people who set up autopay. Understanding this should make you angry enough to never pay interest on a credit card again, and strategic enough to collect every reward dollar the system will give you. The rewards landscape breaks down into 3 primary categories: cashback, travel points, and transferable points currencies. Each has its place depending on how you spend and what you value. Cashback is the simplest and most underestimated reward structure. A 2% cashback card on all purchases sounds modest until you run the math. If you spend $3,000 a month through your credit card, which is entirely possible if you route all your regular expenses through it, that is $60 a month in cashback. $720 a year, completely free, for doing nothing differently except which card you swipe. Travel points are where the wealthy extract disproportionate value. The reason is simple. The redemption value of travel points is dramatically higher than their face value when used correctly. 100,000 points on a premium travel card might be worth $1,000 in statement credits. The same 100,000 points transferred to an airline partner and redeemed for a business class flight to Europe might be worth $4,000 to $6,000 in retail airfare value. The wealthy know this math. They collect points strategically and redeem them for maximum value, extracting 4 to 6 cents per point instead of 1 cent. Transferable points currencies, Chase Ultimate Rewards, American Express Membership Rewards, Capital One Miles, are the most powerful reward systems available because they give you flexibility. You can transfer to airlines, transfer to hotels, redeem for travel directly, or in some cases, convert to cashback. The optionality itself is valuable. You are never locked into a single airline or hotel program, and you can wait for the highest value redemption opportunity before deploying your points. The category bonus structure is where strategic spending multiplies your returns. Most premium cards offer bonus multipliers on specific spending categories. 3 times points on dining, 4 times points on travel, 5 times points on groceries. routing your spending to match the card's bonus categories, using your dining card at restaurants, your grocery card at the supermarket, your travel card for flights and hotels can dramatically accelerate your points accumulation without spending $1 more than you already plan to spend. The sign-up bonus is perhaps the single highest value moment in the credit card rewards game. Premium cards routinely offer bonuses of 60,000 to 100,000 points for meeting a minimum spend threshold in the first 3 months. If you have a large purchase planned, home renovation, business equipment, travel, timing a new card application to coincide with that purchase can net you enough points for multiple free flights or thousands of dollars in statement credits from a single transaction you were going to make anyway. Annual fee cards versus no-fee cards is a question worth addressing directly. Most people avoid annual fee cards instinctively. The wealthy evaluate them the same way they evaluate any investment. Does the return exceed the cost? A card with a $550 annual fee that provides $300 in travel credits, $300 in dining credits, airport lounge access worth hundreds of dollars per year, and a generous points multiplier on all spending is not a $550 expense. It is a net positive instrument if you use the benefits. The calculation is not what does this card cost, it is what does this card return. The wealthy do not have one credit card. They have a portfolio of cards optimized for different spending categories and reward objectives. A premium travel card for flights and hotels, a cash back card for everyday spending, a business card for business expenses that earns points on a separate track from personal spending, each card doing its job, each card extracting maximum value from every dollar that flows through it. This is not complicated. It requires paying attention, selecting the right instruments, and using them consistently. The bank is already running this system. You can participate on the profitable side or the costly side. The only variable is which side you choose. Chapter 4. Credit scores and why they matter more than you think. Most people think of a credit score as a number that determines whether they can get a credit card. The wealthy think of a credit score as a financial asset, one that directly determines the cost of every major financial transaction they make for the rest of their lives. That difference in perspective has massive real-world financial consequences. Your credit score is essentially a measure of how reliably you manage borrowed money. The FICO score, the most widely used scoring model, ranges from 300 to 850. Scores above 740 are generally considered excellent and unlock the best available rates. Scores below 650 significantly limit your access to credit and dramatically increase its cost when you do get it. Here is why this matters at a level most financial education never addresses. The interest rate difference between a credit score of 650 and a credit score of 760 on a $400,000 30-year mortgage is approximately 1 to 1.5 percentage points. That sounds small. Over 30 years, it is the difference of over $80,000 in total interest paid. Your credit score is not a number. It is an $80,000 asset or liability, depending on where it sits. The 5 factors that determine your FICO score are payment history at 35%, credit utilization at 30%, length of credit history at 15%, credit mix at 10%, and new credit inquiries at 10%. Understanding these factors is not optional if you intend to use credit strategically. It is foundational. Payment history is the single largest factor and also the most binary. You either pay on time or you do not. One 30-day late payment can drop an excellent score by 60 to 100 points overnight. The fix is simple. Auto-pay the minimum on every card, every month, without exception. You can always pay more manually. But auto-pay ensures you never accidentally miss a payment because life got busy. Credit utilization is the factor most people underestimate and the wealthy optimize aggressively. Utilization is the percentage of your available credit that you are currently using. If you have $10,000 in total credit limits and are carrying $2,000 in balances, your utilization is 20%. The general guidance is to keep utilization below 30%. The wealthy often keep it below 10%, and some keep it below 5%, because the score impact of moving from 30% to 10% utilization can be significant. Length of credit history is why the wealthy never close their oldest credit card accounts. The age of your oldest account, the age of your newest account, and the average age of all your accounts all factor into this component. Closing an old card shortens your average account age and removes that card's credit limit from your available credit, both of which can hurt your score. The wealthy keep old accounts open and make occasional small purchases on them to keep them active. Credit mix rewards having different types of credit: revolving credit like credit cards and installment credit like auto loans or mortgages. This is a relatively small factor, but it is why having a mix of credit products over time tends to support a strong score. New credit inquiries matter most when you are applying for multiple new accounts in a short period. Each hard inquiry, the kind that happens when you apply for new credit, can temporarily lower your score by a few points. This is manageable and recoverable quickly. What matters is not applying for multiple cards simultaneously in a way that signals financial desperation to lenders. The wealthy monitor their credit scores the way they monitor their investment portfolios, regularly and proactively. Free tools like Credit Karma, Experian, and the monitoring services offered by most credit card issuers give you ongoing visibility into your score and alert you to changes. Catching an error on your credit report, which affects roughly 20% of Americans according to Federal Trade Commission research, and disputing it promptly can recover significant score points that were never legitimately yours to lose. The strategic goal is simple: get your score above 740 and keep it there permanently. At that level, you have access to the best available rates on mortgages, auto loans, business credit, and personal credit. The cost of money drops, the access to capital expands, and every major financial transaction you make for the rest of your life costs you less. Your credit score is a number that follows you everywhere and affects everything. Treat it like the financial asset it is. Chapter 5: The Utilization Secret Nobody Talks About. Credit utilization is the second largest factor in your credit score and one of the most actionable. Unlike payment history, which requires years of consistent behavior to build utilization, can be improved in a single billing cycle. Understanding how it actually works, not just the surface-level advice to keep it below 30%, gives you a lever that can move your credit score faster than almost anything else. Here is the utilization mechanic most people do not know. Your credit card issuer reports your balance to the credit bureaus once a month, typically on your statement closing date. Whatever balance appears on your statement is the balance that gets reported, not your average daily balance, not your highest balance of the month, the balance on the day your statement closes. This means that even if you pay your balance in full every month, your reported utilization could still be high if your statement closes while you are carrying a large balance. If you spent $2,000 on a card with a $3,000 limit and your statement closes before your payment posts, your reported utilization for that month is 66%, even if you pay it off completely the next day. The fix is simple once you understand the timing. Pay your balance down before your statement closing date rather than by your payment due date. These are two different dates. The closing date is when your statement generates and your balance gets reported to the bureaus. The due date is when payment is actually owed. By paying before the closing date, you control what gets reported, and you can keep your reported utilization at or near zero every single month, regardless of how much you actually spend and pay off. This strategy, sometimes called the AZEO method, all zero except one, is used by people who understand credit optimization at an advanced level. You keep all your card balances reporting at zero except one card which reports a small balance, ideally 1 to 3% of its limit. This signals to the scoring models that you are an active credit user without appearing to be a heavy utilizer. The result is often the highest possible score for your credit profile. The relationship between total available credit and utilization is the next lever. Your utilization is calculated both per card and across all cards in aggregate. Increasing your total available credit, either by requesting credit limit increases on existing cards or opening new cards strategically, lowers your utilization on both dimensions without changing your spending at all. If you have $10,000 in available credit and typically carry $2,000 in balances, your utilization is 20%. If you increase your available credit to $20,000, your utilization on the same spending drops to 10%. Same spending, better score, simply from having more available credit that you are not using. Requesting a credit limit increase on an existing card is one of the simplest credit optimization moves available. Many issuers allow you to request an increase online in minutes and will approve it with only a soft inquiry, which does not affect your credit score. After 6 to 12 months of on-time payments and responsible usage, most issuers are willing to increase limits for customers in good standing. The ask costs you nothing. The potential score improvement is meaningful. Business credit cards add another dimension to this strategy. Business card balances typically do not appear on your personal credit report. If you have business expenses that you are currently running through personal cards, moving them to a business card removes those balances from your personal utilization calculation entirely, which can significantly improve your personal score without changing your actual spending behavior. The wealthy understand that credit utilization is not just a scoring factor. It is a signal they send to the financial system about how they manage borrowed money. By keeping utilization low consistently, they signal to every future lender that they are a low-risk borrower who does not depend on available credit to fund their lifestyle. That signal translates directly into better rates, higher limits, and greater access to capital when they want to make a major move. Utilization is the credit factor most under your control in the short term. Master the timing of your payments, optimize your total available credit, and use business cards to separate business spending from personal reporting. These 3 moves alone can transform your credit profile in a matter of months. In the next chapter, you will learn how to use credit cards, not just to avoid losing money, but to actively build wealth, turning a tool most people use destructively into one that accelerates your financial trajectory. Chapter 6: How to Use Credit Cards to Build Wealth, Not Debt. Everything covered so far has been defensive, understanding the trap, learning the rules of the game, optimizing your score. Now it is time to go on offense. Because the wealthy do not just use credit cards to avoid losing money, they use them as active instruments in their wealth-building strategy. The foundation of this approach is a concept that sounds almost too simple to be powerful. Use credit cards for every dollar you are already going to spend. Not more, not for things you would not otherwise buy. Every dollar you are already going to spend anyway. Then pay the balance in full every month without exception. This single discipline, routing all planned spending through a rewards card and paying it off completely each cycle, transforms your credit card from a liability into a profit center. You earn cash back or points on groceries you were buying anyway, on gas you were pumping anyway, on subscriptions you were paying anyway, on utilities if your provider accepts cards, on insurance premiums, on everything that was already leaving your account regardless. The wealthy automate this completely. Every recurring expense, subscriptions, utilities, insurance, memberships, is set to charge to the appropriate rewards card automatically. Every discretionary purchase runs through the same card. At the end of the month, one payment clears the entire balance. The rewards accumulate without any additional effort or behavior change. The second wealth-building application is using credit cards to create a cash flow optimization layer. Here is how it works in practice. You keep your monthly expenses funded in a high-yield savings account earning 4 to 5%. Those expenses go onto your credit card during the month. The cash stays in your high-yield account earning interest for the full billing cycle, typically 25 to 30 days, plus the grace period before payment is due. When the payment is due, you transfer from your high-yield account and pay the balance in full. Over a full year on $30,000 in annual credit card spending, this strategy can generate hundreds of dollars in interest income that you would not have earned if you had paid for those expenses directly from your checking account. The bank is essentially paying you to use their money for a month at a time. Combined with rewards earnings, the total annual benefit of this approach can easily reach $1,000 to $2,000 or more depending on your spending level. The third application is using credit cards to fund investments indirectly. This is a more advanced concept, but the mechanics are straightforward. If you have cash sitting in an investment account and you use a credit card to cover your monthly expenses, that cash can remain invested rather than being liquidated to cover spending. The investment returns, historically averaging 7 to 10% annually in a diversified portfolio, exceed the 0% cost of carrying the credit card balance for the interest-free period. When the statement is due, you pay from incoming income rather than pulling from investments. This is not the same as using credit cards to fund a lifestyle you cannot afford. It is using the credit card's interest-free window as a cash flow buffer that keeps your investment capital working for as long as possible. The discipline required is absolute. If you cannot pay the full balance when it is due, the strategy immediately reverses and becomes destructive. But for someone with steady income and strong financial discipline, it is a genuinely advantageous technique. Purchase protection and extended warranties are wealth preservation tools built into premium credit cards that most people never use. When you buy electronics, appliances, or other valuable items with a premium card, many cards extend the manufacturer warranty by 1 to 2 additional years at no cost. If the item fails during that extended period, the card pays for repair or replacement. This is insurance you're already paying for through your annual fee. Use it. Travel and purchase insurance built into premium cards can save thousands of dollars annually for people who travel regularly. Trip cancellation insurance that reimburses non-refundable travel expenses if your trip is canceled for a covered reason. Trip delay insurance that covers meals and hotel expenses if your flight is significantly delayed. Lost baggage reimbursement. Rental car collision coverage that eliminates the need to purchase rental car insurance from the agency, which typically runs $15 to $30 per day. Each of these benefits has real dollar value that reduces your out-of-pocket spending on expenses you will encounter anyway. The discipline required to use credit cards as wealth-building tools is not complicated. Spend only what you plan to spend. Pay the full balance every month, without exception. Route all planned spending through cards that reward you for it. Use the benefits the cards provide. Keep your utilization low. Never pay interest. Follow those rules consistently, and the credit card industry's $130 billion annual profit machine starts writing you a small check every year instead of cashing yours. In the next chapter, you will learn which specific cards the wealthy actually use and how to build a card portfolio optimized for your own spending patterns and financial goals. Chapter 7. The cards the wealthy actually use. Knowing that credit cards can be powerful wealth tools is one thing. Knowing which specific cards to use and how to build a portfolio of them is where the strategy gets practical. The wealthy do not carry one generic card. They carry a curated set of instruments, each selected for a specific purpose, each earning at maximum rate in its intended category. The landscape of premium credit cards breaks down into a few dominant tiers. Understanding what each tier offers and who it is designed for helps you identify where you fit and what you should be carrying. The American Express Platinum Card sits at the top of the premium personal card category. Its annual fee is substantial, currently $695. But its benefit package is designed to offset that fee multiple times over for the right cardholder. $300 Equinox credit, $200 Uber cash annually, $200 airline fee credit, $150 Saks Fifth Avenue credit, up to $180 digital entertainment credit, Global Lounge Collection access including Centurion Lounges, Priority Pass, and Delta Sky Clubs, Hotel Elite status with Hilton and Marriott, 5 times points on flights booked directly with airlines. The math for a frequent traveler who uses the credits consistently often produces a net value of over $1,500 annually from a $695 annual fee. The Chase Sapphire Reserve sits alongside the Amex Platinum as one of the most powerful travel cards available. Its $300 annual travel credit effectively reduces its $550 fee to $250 for anyone who travels at all, because the credit automatically applies to virtually any travel purchase. 3 times points on travel and dining. 10 times points on hotels and car rentals booked through the Chase portal. Priority Pass Lounge access. A $100 Global Entry or TSA pre-check credit every 4 years. And the Chase Ultimate Rewards points it earns are among the most flexible and valuable in the industry, transferable to United, Hyatt, Southwest, and other partners at favorable ratios. The Chase Sapphire Preferred is the entry point into the premium travel card category with a more accessible $95 annual fee. 3 times points on dining, 2 times on travel, a 10% anniversary points bonus, and access to the same Chase Ultimate Rewards transfer partners as the Reserve. For someone building their credit card portfolio from scratch, the Preferred is often the right first premium card. High reward rates, manageable fee, and access to the best points currency in the industry. The Capital One Venture X has emerged as one of the most compelling value propositions in the premium card space. Its $395 annual fee is offset by a $300 annual travel credit through the Capital One portal and 10,000 bonus miles on each account anniversary worth $100 in travel. The net annual fee after benefits is effectively negative for someone who travels. It earns 2 times miles on all purchases, a powerful flat rate earning structure, and 10 times miles on hotels and rental cars through the portal. Unlimited Priority Pass Lounge access for the cardholder and 2 guests. For someone who wants a single premium travel card with strong flat rate earning and comprehensive lounge access, the Venture X is arguably the best value in its class. Cashback cards serve a different purpose in the portfolio, maximizing returns on spending that does not earn outsized rewards on travel cards. The Citi Double Cash earns 2% cash back on everything, 1% when you buy, and 1% when you pay. No categories to track, no annual fee. Just a clean 2% return on every dollar spent. The Fidelity Rewards Visa earns 2% cash back deposited directly into a Fidelity investment account, which means your rewards automatically become invested capital rather than sitting idle in a points balance. For category-specific optimization, the cards with the highest bonus rates in key spending categories deserve attention. The Blue Cash Preferred from American Express earns 6% cash back at U.S. supermarkets on up to $6,000 annually, one of the highest grocery earn rates available. The Citi Custom Cash earns 5% on your top eligible spending category each billing cycle automatically. The Amazon Prime Rewards Visa earns 5% on Amazon and Whole Foods purchases. Business credit cards deserve their own place in the portfolio conversation. The American Express Business Platinum, the Chase Inc. Business Preferred, and the Capital One Spark Miles for Business all offer substantial rewards on business spending while keeping those balances separate from personal credit utilization. For anyone with self-employment income, freelance work, or a side business, a dedicated business card is both a financial optimization tool and a record-keeping simplification. The optimal portfolio for most people building toward financial independence looks something like this. One premium travel card, either the Sapphire Reserve, Amex Platinum, or Venture X, depending on your travel patterns and spending levels. One strong cash back card for spending the travel card does not bonus. One or two category-specific cards for your highest spending categories. A business card if you have any business income at all. That portfolio of 4 to 5 cards, used strategically and paid in full every month, extracts maximum value from every dollar you spend while building your credit profile through a diverse, well-managed mix of accounts. In the next chapter, you will learn travel hacking, the art of using credit card points to access luxury travel experiences at a fraction of their retail cost. This is where the wealthy separate themselves most dramatically from everyone else in how they use credit. Chapter 8. Travel Hacking, Getting Rich. People Perks for Free. Travel hacking sounds complicated. It is not. It is the practice of using credit card points and miles strategically to access travel experiences, flights, hotels, lounges, upgrades, at a fraction of their retail cost. Done well, it is one of the most tangible and immediately enjoyable financial advantages available to anyone willing to learn the system. The fundamental insight behind travel hacking is transfer partner arbitrage. When you earn points in a flexible currency like Chase Ultimate Rewards or American Express membership rewards, you have the option to transfer those points to airline and hotel loyalty programs at a fixed ratio, typically 1-to-1. Once transferred, those points can be redeemed for award travel at the airline or hotel's own redemption rates, which are often dramatically more valuable than the points' face value. Here is a concrete example of how this works. 100,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points are worth $1,000 when redeemed for cash back at 1 cent per point. Transfer those same 100,000 points to United Airlines and redeem them for 2 business class seats from the United States to Europe at 50,000 points each, and you might be redeeming against flights that retail for $3,000 to $5,000 each. The same 100,000 points that were worth $1,000 in cash back are now worth $6,000 to $10,000 in business class airfare value. That is 6 to 10 times the value, extracted from the same points through strategic redemption. The sweet spot for point redemption is premium cabin international flights and luxury hotel stays, categories where the retail price is high but the points cost is fixed and relatively low. Economy flights are reasonably priced in cash and offer modest redemption value. First and business class international flights retail for thousands of dollars per seat and offer extraordinary redemption value when booked with points. Hotel transfer programs work similarly. Transfer Chase or Amex points to World of Hyatt and redeem for stays at Park Hyatt properties that retail for $500 to $1,000 per night at a fraction of that value in points. The Hyatt program is consistently rated among the most valuable hotel loyalty programs in the industry, precisely because of the favorable redemption rates it offers to members. Airport lounge access is a benefit so consistently underutilized by card members that it bears specific attention. Premium travel cards provide access to a network of airport lounges, Centurion lounges, Chase Sapphire lounges, Priority Pass locations globally that offer complimentary food, premium beverages, showers, quiet workspaces, and concierge services. The retail cost to enter a premium lounge is typically $50 per visit. A frequent traveler using lounge access 15 to 20 times per year is extracting $750 to $1,000 annually in value from a benefit they are already paying for through their annual fee. The sign-up bonus strategy is the engine that accelerates travel hacking faster than regular spending alone. The welcome offers on premium travel cards, 60,000 to 150,000 points for meeting a minimum spend in the first 3 months, represent years of normal spending compressed into a single bonus. Planning a large purchase or a business expense that you can route through a new card to meet the minimum spend requirement nets you a flight or hotel stay that would otherwise take years of card usage to accumulate. Authorized user bonuses add another dimension. Many cards offer bonus points for adding an authorized user in the first few months. The authorized user gets a card, and the account holder gets the bonus points. The authorized user's spending earns additional points on the primary account. For couples or business partners who consolidate spending on the same card, the accumulated points can be substantial. The points-to-cash comparison always favors strategic redemption over liquidation. This is a mistake many points holders make, cashing out points for statement credits when they are worth more as travel. 100,000 points redeemed for a $1,000 statement credit provides a one-time financial benefit. The same 100,000 points redeemed for a business class flight to Japan provides an experience that would otherwise require a $5,000 expenditure. And the travel memories are the kind of thing that compounds in a different but equally real way. Travel hacking is not about gaming a system dishonestly. It is about fully utilizing the value of a financial product you are already paying for, and directing that value toward experiences that genuinely enrich your life. The wealthy travel in business class and stay in luxury hotels, not because they always pay retail for those experiences, but because they have learned to extract maximum value from systems that reward strategic participation. The next chapter shifts from the opportunity to the risk, because credit cards are powerful in both directions and the warning signs of destructive use are worth understanding clearly. Chapter 9. When credit cards become dangerous. The warning signs. Everything in this audiobook has been building toward a clear and honest conclusion. Credit cards are extraordinary tools in the right hands and catastrophic liabilities in the wrong ones. The line between those two outcomes is not income, it is not intelligence, it is behavior. And the behavioral warning signs that a credit card is working against you rather than for you are specific enough to identify and correct before they become permanent damage. The first and most fundamental warning sign is carrying a balance. There is no version of the credit card strategy described in this audiobook that involves paying interest. The moment you carry a balance from one month to the next at 22% interest, you have crossed from the profitable side of the credit card equation to the costly side. Every reward you earned that month was wiped out by the interest charge. Your cash back is not cash back anymore. It is a small discount on an expensive loan. This is not a judgment. Life happens. Medical bills, job losses, unexpected expenses. Circumstances exist that push people into carrying credit card balances despite their best intentions. The point is not that carrying a balance makes you irresponsible. The point is that it immediately and completely changes the math on every strategy discussed in this audiobook. If you are carrying a balance right now, the first priority is eliminating it, not optimizing rewards. The second warning sign is using credit spending to fund a lifestyle you cannot actually afford. This is the core trap the banks designed their products to enable. When you can buy something on credit without feeling the immediate pain of spending cash. It is extraordinarily easy to accumulate purchases at a pace that exceeds your income. The statement arrives 30 days later, and the gap between what you earn and what you spent is revealed, and then carried forward at 22%. The check for this is simple. Every month before your statement closes, your projected balance should be fully coverable by the cash you have available in your checking account, not next month's paycheck, not a bonus you're expecting. cash you have right now. If the math does not work without borrowing against future income, you are funding a lifestyle gap with credit, and the interest rate on that gap is 22%. The third warning sign is a pattern of minimum payments. If you are consistently paying only the minimum on your credit card, you are in a debt trap designed by a bank to generate maximum interest revenue from your account. The minimum payment is not a reasonable payment option for someone managing their finances strategically. It is a mechanism to keep you paying interest for as long as possible on a balance that barely decreases from month to month. The fourth warning sign is using credit cards as an emergency fund substitute. Credit access is not savings. When your car breaks down, your furnace fails, or a medical expense arrives, the correct response is to fund it from an emergency reserve, ideally 3 to 6 months of expenses held in a liquid, high-yield account. Reaching for a credit card in an emergency is understandable when no alternative exists. But it is a symptom of a missing financial foundation, not a solution to the emergency. Building a genuine emergency fund, even a small one to start, is the prerequisite for using credit cards strategically without risk. With a funded emergency reserve, credit card charges remain manageable because you have the cash to back them. Without one, a single unexpected expense can set off a chain of balance accumulation, minimum payments, and compounding interest that takes years to unwind. The fifth warning sign is emotional spending, using credit cards to manage negative emotions. Shopping when you are stressed, sad, bored, or anxious is a behavior pattern that credit cards amplify dramatically. The frictionless spending experience they provide is specifically designed to reduce the psychological resistance to purchases. Combined with emotional decision-making, it is a recipe for balances that accumulate faster than the shopper consciously realizes. None of these warning signs mean credit cards are the wrong tool for you. They mean you need to address the underlying behavior before the tool can work in your favor. The strategies in this audiobook are available to anyone, but they require a foundation, consistent income relative to spending, an emergency reserve, and the discipline to pay in full every month before the offensive wealth-building applications become available. If you recognize yourself in any of these warning signs, the path forward is not complicated. Stop using the cards temporarily, build the cash reserve, eliminate any existing balances, rebuild the foundation, then return to the strategies in this audiobook from a position of genuine financial strength rather than one where a single missed payment starts a chain reaction. In the final chapter, you will put everything together, building your own personal credit card system from scratch, designed specifically for your spending patterns, your financial goals, and the wealth-building trajectory you are committed to. Chapter 10. Building your personal credit card system. Everything in this audiobook has been leading to this chapter. Not a generic set of recommendations, but a framework for building a credit card system that fits your specific life, your specific spending patterns, and your specific financial goals. The wealthy do not use a one-size-fits-all approach to credit. They build a customized system and then run it consistently. This chapter shows you how to do the same. The starting point is an honest assessment of where you are right now, not where you plan to be, not where you think you should be, where you actually are. Do you currently carry a balance on any credit card? If yes, the system does not start with rewards optimization. It starts with elimination. The highest interest debt you carry is the guaranteed negative return on your financial life. 22% guaranteed on every dollar of balance. No investment in history has consistently returned 22% annually. Eliminating credit card debt is the highest return financial move available to anyone carrying it. Use the avalanche method. Attack the highest interest rate balance first while making minimums on everything else. Every additional dollar you direct at that balance earns you 22% guaranteed. Nothing else in your financial life does that. Once you are carrying zero balances, or if you are already there, the system building begins. Step 1 is auditing your current spending by category. Look at your last 3 months of bank and card statements. Where does your money actually go? Groceries, dining, gas, travel, subscriptions, utilities, online shopping, medical. The categories where you spend the most money are the categories where optimizing your card selection has the greatest impact. A card that earns 6% on groceries is worth far more to someone who spends $1,000 a month on groceries than to someone who spends $100. Step 2 is matching your spending profile to the available card options. Based on your highest spending categories, identify which cards pay the most for those specific categories. If you travel frequently and value lounge access, a premium travel card is justified. If you rarely travel but spend heavily on groceries and dining, a cash back card with category bonuses outperforms a travel card for your profile. The goal is not to have the most prestigious card. The goal is to have the card that pays you the most for the way you actually spend. Step 3 is building the portfolio incrementally. Do not apply for 5 cards simultaneously. The resulting hard inquiries will temporarily lower your score, and multiple new accounts will lower your average account age. Build the portfolio over 12 to 24 months. Start with the one card that addresses your highest spending category or that earns the most value in aggregate. Add a second card after 6 months. Add a third after another 6 months. Give each card time to age and give your credit profile time to absorb each new account before adding the next. Step 4 is setting up the automation layer. Every recurring expense that can be charged to a credit card should be set to autopay to your rewards card. Subscriptions, insurance premiums, utilities that accept cards without fees, phone bills, gym memberships. This requires a one-time setup effort and then runs on autopilot indefinitely, earning you rewards on expenses that were leaving your account regardless. Set up autopay for the full statement balance on every card, not the minimum, the full balance, time to come from your primary checking account after your regular income deposits. This eliminates the possibility of accidentally missing a payment and ensures you never pay interest. Step 5 is the monthly review. Once a month, when your statements close, spend 15 minutes reviewing your spending, confirming your balances are fully paid, checking your credit utilization, and noting your points balances. This is not a complex exercise. It is a brief check-in that keeps you aware of the system's performance and catches any anomalies, unauthorized charges, incorrect fees, or billing errors before they compound. Step 6 is the annual review. Once a year, evaluate each card in your portfolio. Are you using the benefits? Is the annual fee justified by the value you are extracting? Has a better option entered the market? Cards and their benefits evolve. The card that was optimal for your profile 2 years ago may have been surpassed by a new product, or your spending patterns may have shifted enough that a different card now serves you better. The system you are building is not static. It grows with you. As your income grows and your spending increases, the value of optimizing your card portfolio grows proportionally. As you begin traveling more, the value of premium travel cards increases. As you build business income, the value of business cards increases. The system scales with your financial trajectory. The final piece of the system is mindset, and it is worth stating directly one more time. Every strategy in this audiobook depends on one non-negotiable behavior: paying your full balance every month without exception. This is not a suggestion. It is the load-bearing wall of the entire structure. Remove it and the system collapses. The rewards become discounts on expensive debt. The float strategy becomes a balance that compounds at 22%. The credit score benefits are undermined by utilization that climbs as balances grow. Pay the full balance, every month, without exception. That one discipline is what separates the people who extract thousands of dollars annually in value from their credit cards from the people who generate billions in annual profit for the banks. You now have the complete framework. The choice is yours. Closing. The credit card in your wallet has not changed. The way you see it has. You now understand why it was designed the way it was, and why that design makes it so profitable for the banks and so costly for the uninformed. You understand the mental model the wealthy bring to it, not as a spending tool, but as a financial instrument to be optimized. You understand how the rewards game works and how to make banks pay you for spending you were already going to do. You understand how your credit score functions as a financial asset and how to protect and grow it. You understand utilization optimization, the interest-free float, purchase protections, travel hacking, and the warning signs that tell you when a card is working against you rather than for you. And you have a framework for building your own system, customized to your spending patterns, your financial goals, and the wealth-building trajectory you are committed to. Let's bring it all together one final time. Chapter 1. Banks designed credit cards to generate profit from behavioral patterns most people never examine. Understanding the design is the first step to escaping it. Chapter 2. The wealthy see credit cards as tools that pay them to use them, not as access to money they have not yet earned. Chapter 3. The rewards game is real, substantial, and available to anyone willing to play it strategically. The banks are already running the system. The only question is which side you are on. Chapter 4. Your credit score is a financial asset worth tens of thousands of dollars over a lifetime of borrowing. Treat it accordingly. Chapter 5. Utilization optimization is the fastest-moving lever in your credit profile, and most people are leaving significant score points on the table by not understanding how it actually works. Chapter 6. Credit cards used correctly are profit centers, generating cash back, points, float income, and insurance value on spending that was leaving your account regardless. Chapter 7. The wealthy carry portfolios of cards optimized for specific categories and purposes, not one generic card for everything. Chapter 8. Travel hacking converts credit card points into premium travel experiences at a fraction of retail cost. One of the most tangible and immediately enjoyable wealth advantages available to anyone willing to learn the system. Chapter 9. The warning signs of destructive credit card use are specific and identifiable. Recognizing them early is the difference between a minor course correction and years of expensive debt. Chapter 10. Your personal credit card system, built incrementally, automated intelligently, and reviewed regularly, is a perpetual value generation engine that scales with your financial growth. The banks have been playing this game for decades. They built the rules, they designed the products, they funded the behavioral research. And for most people, that has meant one thing: steady, reliable profit extracted from financial habits that were never examined closely enough to change. You have examined them now. You know how the game works. You know which side of the equation generates wealth and which side generates bank profits. The card has not changed. You have. If this audiobook delivered value, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to Mindset Wealth Blueprint for new audiobooks every week, and drop a comment below. Tell us which strategy in this audiobook you are implementing first. We read every one. This audiobook is for entertainment and informational purposes only. Nothing in this content constitutes financial, legal, or investment advice. Credit card strategies involve personal financial decisions that depend on individual circumstances. Always consult a qualified financial professional before making significant financial decisions. Results vary and are not guaranteed.